So this wasn't really exactly the best experience I've ever had with a real estate agent. It was a little iffy. I mean, I'm not sure that I'd ever recommend Eric again.
Hey, we talked about the 5-star review.
On second thought, this is the absolute best experience I've ever had with a real estate agent, and I would never, ever recommend anybody else ever again but Eric. Eric, 100%.
This is how I get my 5-star reviews, folks.
Well, it's probably the best experience I've ever had with dealing with a realtor. And we've dealt with a few. An unsuccessful attempt last year to sell our home, and this year was just like a total 180-degree experience. Right from the very start, he gave us a good, clear idea of what his objectives were, but at the same time paying attention to what our objectives were. He made it clear that he was going to aggressively market and sell the property, and that's exactly what he did.
In a heartbeat.
Yes. I felt like Eric was more knowledgeable than any of the other realtors, and we've spoken to a couple than any of the realtors that we'd spoken to. He really seemed to have a good grasp on what was selling and what wasn't, and he was just upfront and honest with us about, what the time frame could be, instead of just filling us with false hope. He kind of just supported more what the plan that we had for getting the home ready to sell, and gave us some very good pointers on how to add to that. He covered our needs better than any other realtor we've ever dealt with. He was more concerned with our needs than his needs, and unfortunately it's very often the other way with realtors. They're more concerned about what's going to benefit them than what's going to benefit you. He wasn't pushy at all. I mean, he supported us, and it's like us selling the home and not him. He was just there as a support person with good advice and guidance.
And there to answer any questions we had along the way, which
very
made a huge
communicative, which
difference.
is difficult to find. I mean, he kept us apprised of everything that was going on all the time. Eric's emails or notes would always say, "Hi team," and it really was a team. He was just part of our team and not directing us on just what we needed to do. Eric honestly exceeded my expectations. And my expectations began to grow after we met him. And he exceeded my expectations. He had a very clear vision for what we needed to do and wanted to do, and executed that. Eric was very professional, but we were also able to have a good time. We were able to joke, and because it's a stressful time when you're getting your house ready to sell, and I honestly just did not need a stiff shirt.
Yeah, he was very respectful. He was just on top of everything. We were very pleased.
He usually answered our messages faster than most family members do. So Eric was very responsive and very concise when he needed to be. This is what we need to do, and we need to do this right away, and this when you got a little bit of time.
Right.
Yeah.
Very good about keeping us in the loop with what was happening and inspections and stuff like that.
As well as the rest of his team. I mean, this was so much more of a team effort than I've ever experienced in a real estate transaction.
Yeah, definitely.
We wanted this to happen as soon as possible, and he made it happen. Eric made it happen even sooner than that, sooner than my expectations. Honestly, by the time we got around to listing the house, there were no challenges left because Eric had addressed them all already.
Yeah.
And so we went into it basically challenge-free. I think the thing that really made my mind up was how much more supportive of our vision for what we needed to do to sell the house was than anybody else that we had spoken to. That was him, and
and we had talked to a couple, but
and they kind of wanted to completely change our idea, and Eric supported and added to what our plan to prepare the home was, which was also very helpful. Absolutely, I would recommend Eric.
Definitely.
Anybody that asks me about any kind of real estate transaction in this area, buying or selling, I would tell them to contact Eric without question.
Yeah.
They're going to be satisfied, I can guarantee it.
Yeah, it was between Eric and another guy, and I wasn't getting the vibe from the other guy, and John was kind of iffy, and I said, no, I want to go with Eric, and he said, okay, we'll go with Eric.
And once we got past that point, I was extremely happy that we made that decision. Yeah.